Crowd still filing in, standing room only. You love hearing that phrase. Rockies, Coors Field, home opener. It is something special. More than 50,000 will be in the house, and now that walk. Ramon Hernandez and Jolie Chassin as they get ready to go. The Rockies and the San Francisco Giants. Opening week presented by Burger King. And hi once again, everybody, as you see some of the hardware being given away on the field. Troy Tulowitzki kind of picks up a lot of stuff as the years start to roll by. Another Silver Slugger, another Gold Glove Award for Tulowitzki. I think back to 1991 on this day when baseball was looking to expand in the National League. Denver was a candidate, but there were some that were skeptical. Would people pour out and support a new franchise? Boy, did they learn in a hurry. Absolutely they would. More than 80,000 on opening day at Mile High Stadium in '93. They set all kinds of attendance records that still stand to this day. As I bring back my partner, George Frazier, it is special. I still have goosebumps from the flyover. It's just something you really can't put into words. Opening day at home in Major League Baseball.
Well, and particularly with these fans, when you see it dressed in purple, the theme this year with all of the fans in purple and some of the greatest fans in baseball. You mentioned 1991. I knew baseball would work here because I played here in the minor leagues at Mile High when you'd have 25,000 people at a minor league game. There was true baseball fans in the city of Denver, and then they all come out year after year to watch this team play, and I don't know how a player can't be excited to come to this ballpark on this day and start a season in 2012.
Well put. Nearly 3 million fans a year ago poured through the turnstiles here at 20th and Blake. We expect much the same in 2012. And Jim Tracy, who has been a baseball vagabond, he has been everywhere. He understands how special these fans are in the Rocky Mountain region.
They're as special a group of fans as I've ever encountered during the course of my career. They identify with this team and engage with this team and respect this team even on a day when we get beat, but they're going home realizing that they gave it everything they had today. They rally around us like no other group of fans that I've ever been around. It's really, really neat to be a part of.
And the statement is not to be gratuitous from Jim Tracy or from us, because we get to go around Major League Baseball. We see other opening days. Many are special, few are like this.
Nothing like this with the flag and the military here and the balloons and the flyover and everything else that goes with it. There's not a much better place than Coors Field to be on opening day, and he's right. You want to leave a great taste in these great fans' mouth today and come out of here with a W against the Giants and just let them know this ball club's good.
Well, this place will be rocking. We know that. Outside is rocking as well, and that's where we'll find our Jenny Kaplan.
Thanks, Drew. As you can tell, Blake Street is bumping. The normal buzz at business hour around 9 a.m. was a different scene today. The streets of Lodo full with purple. That's because it's the inauguration of Purple Monday. These fans are excited that baseball is back. They're ready to root on the Rockies, but the Rockies this year are also going to be rooting on the fans. That's because 2012 is the official year of the fans. And George and Drew, by the looks of it, these fans are ready to play ball.
Absolutely they are. I love it. Purple Mondays. And this is the first of many more. We have more to do getting you ready for first pitch. look. The Rockies are 1-2 after a 3-game set down in Houston. The Giants were swept at Chase Field in Arizona. Everybody's staying away from the starting pitcher. That is tradition. Jhoulys Chacín will have the baseball. You forget sometimes he's still just 24 years of age, though we've said his name frequently over the last couple of seasons. He has pitched well against the Giants.
He has pitched very well against the Giants. In fact, very well against the National League West. 3-3 record, 272 against the Giants. I don't think it's a coincidence because he's had a very good home record and he's been able to do things in this ballpark that have been special, that he's starting this ball game today against the Giants. I think he's the best prepared for this type of atmosphere against the Giants. He's pitched well, as I said, against the National League West. 13-10 overall in his career. The right guy for the right day here at Coors Field.
He'll be able to handle the butterflies. So Jhoulys Chacín will be opposed by Barry Zito. The Rockies, it's the home opener 2012. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Burger King, the proud sponsor of opening week of baseball. By CenturyLink. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. As has become customary, the weather gorgeous as San Francisco getting ready to go offensively. Gregor Blanco, formerly of the Atlanta Braves, will lead things off for Bruce Bochy's Giants, and here's the rest of his Southwest batting order. Melky Cabrera, they look to upgrade the offense. Cabrera had a tremendous year at the Royals last year. They traded Jonathan Sanchez to get him in the offseason. Then Pablo Sandoval, he can flat hit. Aubrey Huff trying to bounce back after a disappointing 2011. Young catcher, 22-year-old Hector Sanchez giving Buster Posey the day off. Angel Pagan, he's new from the New York Mets. Brandon Crawford, Ryan Theriot, he won a world championship last year with St. Louis. And the veteran Barry Zito. 6'3", 230-pound Jhoulys Chacín. Fastball command, that was the theme of his spring.
And he has to have that in order to have success at this level, to make the slider better, the changeup better. And I'm very confident that he has been able to reach those plateau of what he's trying to accomplish. I know they've worked very hard on it. Only time will tell, and the time is now.
And the first pitch of the ball game is in there, strike one, as indicated by Darryl Cousins. And the first pitch in 2012 at home, you catch it, and then you toss it over the dugout, and that baseball will be taken away. Here's the 0-1. And sharply hit right at Marco Scutaro. Puts a knee down, which you can do on the right side. And an easy out. 2 pitches, 1 gone. Rockies defensively. This is how they began in Houston. on opening day. Carr goes in left, Dexter Fowler in center, Michael Kadire, who had a great series in Houston, he's in right field. Chris Nelson, Troy Tulowitzki left side, Scutero and Todd Helton on the right side with Ramon Hernandez, 35-year-old veteran behind the plate. So with one out, here is Melky Cabrera. Came up and reached some notoriety with the New York Yankees. You play in New York, you do anything, and people seem to know your name. Moved on to Atlanta briefly and Kansas City briefly. This is a swinging bunt. Tough play and no play. Melky Cabrera will have a 24-foot hit. I don't know if it went that far.
I don't either. I think it's one of those guys, he gets a little pull happy. Watch the front side's going to pull off the baseball. He's thinking right field seats off the end of the bat. A 24-foot single in this ball game against Chassin. Now, the one guy he has to have concern with is the guy coming up as you look at this ball. Watch it, right off the tip of the bat. Is that it's Pablo Sandoval. He's had great success against Chassin. 6 for 12 in his career.
Sandoval had a big bounce back year last season, and he crushes this ball. Deep right field, turn, get foul. It is a fair ball. You know, just as you said, he's had a lot of success against Chassin. He blasts a 2-run home run, his second of the year, and the Giants jump on top.
Already 6 RBIs on the year for Pablo Sandoval.
You know, I know there's so much focus, George, on getting out in front of hitters with Yoli Chassin. He's a guy who's a notorious first pitch swing.
First pitch swinging, first pitch fastball, bad miss by Yolis. They wanted the ball on the outer half sinking. It was on the inner half at 88 miles an hour. That miss cost him a 2-run home run.
The only question was whether it would stay fair. That ball was crushed. Aubrey Huff at the plate with a 1-1 count. Sandoval, one of the few hitters really to thrive down in Arizona. 0-3 start for the Giants. First time they've gone 0-3 to begin the season since 1984. Last time they started 0-4, George, they weren't even the San Francisco Giants. They were the New York Giants back in 1950. Wow. They lost 3 one-run games against the Diamondbacks.
Their pitching staff should pitch better and will pitch better and to keep you in ball games. They've got a very solid bullpen. And I know Bruce Bochy every year talks about offense, and they hope they've added that. And I think a healthy Pablo Sandoval obviously will give them that.
Last year, they finished last in the National League. This ball's well hit. Last in the National League in runs scored. Kadire will dig it out of the corner, and it's a double for Aubrey Huff after the long home run by Pablo Sandoval. So Chassin a little shaky here in the opening frame.
Watching here are the misses on the inner half and down. Whether it's a curveball or fastball, you're going to the hot zone of a left-handed hitter. Both of these were there. Even though on the front foot, he kept his hands back and was able to pull that ball down the right field line.
You always want to get to the dugout quickly, even more so when it's the home opener. Give that offense a chance to get rolling. Instead, they're going to be in catch-up mode, and you hope it's just 2 runs. Chacin's going to have to battle to keep it a 2-0 game here in the top of the first. Hector Sanchez, the young switch-hitting catcher, came up late last year in September, handled himself well, and beat out Eli Whiteside for the backup job to Buster Posey.
And how good a player is this? Was in Modesto High A at the beginning of the year. Last year, traveled through the system to the big leagues in September.
Native of Venezuela, and that pitch is away. 2-1. Again, Buster Posey is fine. Bruce Bochy caught him all 3 ball games, returning from that horrific ankle injury last year. And so he taking advantage of an opportunity to get him 2 days off. Nice catch by Dexter. 2 outs. That ball was hit hard. Posey's fine. He'll sit out today. Tomorrow is an off day. Get him 48 hours of rest. 2 outs, and that'll bring up another new man to the San Francisco Giants, Angel Pagan. Most recently of the New York Mets. Similar in a lot of ways for me, George, to the guy they gave up, Andres Torres, and also Ramon Ramirez, the former Rocky. He's a little younger, a little stronger than Torres, runs very well. Pick plays on, got a chance. Ron Copa says he got his hand in there. Boy, they run that daylight play as well as any team in baseball.
They work on it. That's why a lot of teams don't spend the time, but the Rockies have been very proficient with recording outs and shortening innings, and particularly when you have a pitcher in trouble that's given up a few runs. If he missed the tag.
Yeah, from that angle, again, it's hard to see if there was contact with the hand. If there was, he may have been out. Todd Helton had one of those down in Houston that was missed. There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A year ago, this is where Chassin really excelled with 2 outs, runners in scoring position. They've hit just 126 against him.
This is chipped foul. And the count swings in favor of Yoeli Chassin. Well, in the inning, George, Blanco's ground ball was struck hard. Then Melkin Cabrera's infield hit obviously off the end of the bat. But then Sandoval squared it up, Huff squared it up, and Hector Sanchez squared up the ball to center field.
Yes, he did. Down a dead line to dead center field to Dexter Fowler. This ball should get
tough
Todd
play.
Helton.
That's a real tough play. You got an in-between hop. Todd came up with it. That's how you win Gold Gloves, of which he has 3. 2-0 start for the Giants. Yoeli Chassin. So now it's the Rockies' turn. Marco Scutero, who had 2 starts down in Houston, 2 for 9. He hit the ball hard on several occasions. He will work counts. He'll be atop the Southwest batting order this afternoon for Jim Tracy. Dexter Fowler will hit 2nd. Cargo will hit 3rd. Troy Tulowitzki, Todd Helton, 4 and 5. Michael Kadire next. He was terrific offensively and defensively down in Houston. Ramon Hernandez, Chris Nelson, and Chassin. Barry Zito in the 6th year of that 7-year enormous deal he signed after a wonderful career in Oakland. It has not gone well, as most of you know, in San Francisco. I'll tell you what, though, the few times he has shined seemingly have come against the Rockies.
5-2 in his career, very low earned run average. He's pitched well against the Rockies. Over that span, he's pitched in 17 games, 15 starts. The Rockies have only hit .208 against him. You're absolutely right. I mean, when he was in Oakland, you're looking at a record of 102 and 63, an earned run average of 355. Since joining the San Francisco Giants after the contract, 43 and 61, a mid-4 earned run average.
Yeah, a one-run higher, George. You mentioned 355 with the A's when you won a Cy Young Award, 455 with the Giants. And normally he's been a guy that whatever you ask him to do, he's going to be out there. Last year he dealt with a lot of injuries. This ball hits sharply. Sandoval dives, comes up with it, and he'll get Scudero.
Yeah, so far it's been the Pablo Sandoval show, offensively and now defensively.
San Francisco defensively, they wanted a little more speed in their outfield, naturally coming to Coors Field, and all that room out there. They have Melky Cabrera, Angel Pagan, and Gregor Blanco. In the infield, Sandoval, Brandon Crawford's got a good glove at short. Ryan Theriot played short last year, primarily for the Cardinals. Aubrey Huff's at first. Hector Sanchez behind the plate. And Dexter gets underneath this one. Just a smidgen. High fly ball to deep center field. 2 outs. Two gone. That'll bring up Cargo. Well, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies Taco Special. And all season long, Taco Bell and the Rockies in Root Sports will be giving $500 to Colorado Boys and Girls Clubs when the Rockies do score 7 or more runs. Carlos Gonzalez, great numbers against Barry Zito, and he takes a slider for a strike. He's one of the few guys that has worn out Barry Zito in this Rockies lineup. 421 in his career.
Home run and 5 RBIs to go with it. He's only struck out 3 times in 19 at-bats against him.
He's out front there. Zito did not have a good spring. He had an ERA close to 8. Working on retooling his windup.
Part of that, he came into, a lot of people may not remember this, but Jim Cott used the speed up delivery. He thought that would make a difference. He went to Tom House, former big league pitching coach, to work on that. And after 3 outings of bad results, he switched and kind of modified things.
2-0. Jenny Cavnar. Jenny?
Jhoulys Chacin giving up a couple hits there in the first inning, including a home run. It might have to do with a slight mechanical issue he's been dealing with during spring training. I talked with pitching coach Bob Apodaca before the game today, and he said it has to do with his plantar foot. That right foot tends to move slightly on delivery, and it's just a domino effect from there. His head tilts a little bit, his shoulder moves, and his arm's late sometime to the plate. So it's something that he did see improvement upon throughout the course of the spring. But George, it's interesting. Just one slight movement has a whole change in delivery.
Well, it really does. And what happens to it? Nice flip. They'll get him. Good play by Helton. The Gold Glover onto Chacin for the out. What will happen at times is your heel will separate from the rubber. When that happens, it changes the momentum of your body, and it causes you to go to the third base side more than you want to. And when that happens, to get to that outside corner or slider, and with Jhoulys, the situation, you have a late head jerk. So when you jerk your head, at the end of your delivery, you're going to pull off the ball a lot, and that results in high and misses, high and wide.
One out, Ryan Theriot at the plate, and he takes a strike. Play by Todd Helton. Came up on him late, but he stayed with it. And he had that old volunteer option pitch to Chacin. 0-1, make it 0-2, breaking ball for a strike. Set up away, and the breaking ball's down.
Theriot in 40 ball games has had a lot of success against the Colorado Rockies. 318 overall average in his career over those 40 games.
Come in with the heater, and it's 2-2. Jhoulys working on that fastball command throughout spring training. Kind of up and down spring training, in ERA above 5. On the ground to Tulowitzki. 2 outs.
Well, that's the hard part for fans, media, everyone to understand. He may go out for one start and try to throw 4 innings, try to throw 60 pitches and say 50 fastballs, because that's what he's working on. He's working on refining the delivery. That's third year, 3 years at the big league level, 6'3", 215. His career average, you see that earned run average at 352, very respectable.
Jhoulys led the Rockies with 11 W's last year. It was 11-14. It's the fewest wins to lead the Rockies since Roger Bailey and Darren Holmes led the club with 9 wins back in 1997. Holmes was pitching out of the bullpen. 1-2-3, second inning. See if the bats can come alive against Barry Zito. It's 2-0 on the Pablo Sandoval home run. Giants in front. Brought to you by your Colorado Hyundai dealers this season. Save responsibly when you shop your Colorado Hyundai dealers. ColoradoHyundai.com. The Giants, after a day off tomorrow, they'll continue this series here in Denver on Wednesday and Thursday. Diamondbacks in, Padres in as well. It's a long homestand to begin the home portion of the Rockies schedule in 2012. Again, don't forget, save responsibly when you shop your Colorado Hyundai dealers. That's ColoradoHyundai.com. Troy Tulowitzki, after a 1-2-3 inning by Barry Zito in the first, will lead things off for the Rockies. He has hit amazingly just 135 against Barry Zito in his career in 37 at-bats, 5 hits. One of the hits was a home run. And Helton behind him has struggled also, just 5 for 23. That's why I mentioned last inning. Cargo's the only guy in this lineup with significant at-bats against Zito that's had any kind of success.
And it's very surprising when you think of all these guys that have swung the bat against this guy, that they don't have the numbers you would think they would have.
Barry Zito has a sub-3 ERA against only 3 teams in the National League. Yep, the Rockies are one of them.
And to think that Tulowitzki's second in the league versus left-handers a year ago at 349.
Yep, the only guy who hit higher against left-handed pitching last year, Ryan Braun, and that was by a single point. Here's the 1-1 from Zito. It's dropped in there. Barry Zito is not unlike Jamie Moyer, but he features a big curveball. Jamie Moyer tops out 78, 79 miles an hour on his fastball. Barry Zito would be hard-pressed to touch 85.
Yeah, it doesn't very often, nor does he want to. He would rather create movement and have good exact control with his fastball to both sides of the plate.
This has popped up. He changed the eye level on an 84-mile-an-hour fastball. A lot of wind up there. And Ryan Theriot handles it. That'll bring up Todd Helton, who was talking during spring training about the new culture in the clubhouse.
I think the special clubhouse is the one that when things go bad and you're losing, that are able to maintain a good environment, a good working environment. That day they're only focused on one thing: it's going out and winning that ball game.
So here's Todd, 1 for 8 in the series down in Houston. He pinch hit yesterday late in the ball game and walked. That was in the 9th inning. The Rockies tried to rally to tie. Looked like they were going to have a great opportunity. Michael Kadire, a leadoff double in the top of the 9th inning after the Rockies lost that 2-1 lead in the 8th. But they could not bring Kadire around. This ball is hit pretty well center field. Going back is Pagan. He'll get there.
Makes it look easy, doesn't he?
With 2 outs and nobody on, as Zito has set down the first 5. Michael Kadire will stride to the plate. And he was as advertised in Houston. He threw out a couple of hits on opening day at his first Rockies RBI. And then he hit a towering home run on Saturday. And last night, lined a double to right center field to give the Rockies a real good chance to tie up the baseball game in the 9th inning. Unfortunately, as I said a moment ago, they couldn't bring him around.
6 games in his career versus the San Francisco Giants. He's hit at a 458 clip.
He just loves to play. Lansford said he is old school, said he is an absolute stud. 2 balls and a strike. Michael's excited about playing his home games at Coors Field. He enjoyed playing at the Metrodome. Target Field really tilted toward pitchers. And that's a hard shot. Crawford comes up with it, and Barry Zito is doing what he seemingly always does against the Rockies. Confound them. Retired the first 6. This month, Root Sports is looking for the biggest Rockies fans in New Mexico. Tell us why you're the biggest fan around and enter to win the ultimate fan experience, which includes travel and hotel for you and a guest to visit Denver and watch your favorite team in action from the Root Sports Suite, breakfast with the on-air talent, and a Root Sports prize pack. You can enter by going to rockymountain.rootsports.com. Top of the order, Gregor Blanco in the third inning against Chassin. Starts him out with a curveball. It's in there for a strike.
Right now, the Rockies hitters playing into the hands of what Zito wants to do. Just 17 pitches thrown through 2 innings.
Yeah, I understand being amped up. One of the things the Rockies did in the offseason was go and get a veteran presence, a number of veteran players that have been there, done that. So you'd hope to see them start to work some counts and get some pitches to hit.
In Houston, they averaged 4.2 pitches. This is a little under 3. Big difference.
One-two, fouled off by Blanco. Blanco's a nice story. He was not in the big leagues last year. He was in AAA in a couple of different organizations. Syracuse, the Royals organization. He was in the Washington Nationals, or excuse me, Omaha in the Royals organization, and Syracuse in the Nationals organization. And he made the club as a non-roster invitee.
Pretty impressive that he came in and had the ability to do that. He's a guy with pretty good speed. Hasn't ever shown a lot of power in his career, but it can cover ground.
Well, they got good reports on him, George. He was the MVP of the Venezuelan Winter League.
Well, look at how long Torres spent in the minor leagues. At some point it clicked. That's the same thing with this young man. They hope it clicks here. Torres with the Mets pulled a calf muscle, by the way, the other day.
Mets are off to a good start.
They really are.
Swept the Braves in their opening series.
Oh, how's the Red Sox Yankee Nation doing right now at 0-6?
That's the first time in forever that both of those clubs have started 0-3, and for the Red Sox, back-to-back years they start 0-3.
Playing right into Bobby Valentine's hands.
You think? That's pretty good. Ramon Hernandez thought it hit the outside corner. 2-2. Just outside on the fourth strike zone. See Ramon Hernandez, he just wanted a shake to get in the head of Blanco, and that breaking ball misses, and it's a full count, 3-2. Giants smarting from yesterday's game. They had a 6-0 lead with Matt Cain on the hill, swung on and missed, and they blew it. They lost 7-6. They'll join in the conversation with Toyota Talk. Text Toyota followed by a space, then your comments to 720-720. And also, if you text right now, you'll be entered to win a $500 gas card. We'll do it in the 6th inning. First strikeout for Chassin. That'll bring up Melky Cabrera. He reached on a little squibber up the third base line. Hit it off the extreme end of the bat. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that was followed up by Pablo Sandoval. And the next pitch hitting one into the second deck in right. Melky Cabrera last year, one of 5 players in the big leagues to produce more than 200 hits. He had 201 hits. George, he had 44 doubles last year.
It was a good trade for both organizations. Sanchez won his first start yesterday in a Royals uniform. Went 5 innings. The bullpen picked up the slack and he got the win. It was time for him to move. Kansas City didn't really need or could afford this type of a salary. So it's one of those trades that worked well for both sides.
And truth be told, they have so many young, good-looking offensive players in Kansas City. They could pass on a Melky Cabrera, who was terrific offensively last year, and the Giants, as we all know, have a significant offensive need.
Absolutely, and I think too the way that the Royals have drafted. Now some have gotten hurt, but Crow, he was on the All-Star team as a first-round draft pick last year, working out of the bullpen. Montgomery's a kid coming back from Tommy John surgery. Hochevar, a first-round pick. They've hit on their first-round pitchers. So they thought by being able to get this veteran pitcher to anchor that staff a little bit with Hochevar, it's only going to get better for them. Plus, they've drafted well with Makakis and the guys they have there. Bubba Starling out of Nebraska, or out of the Kansas City area and going to Nebraska. Another very phenomenal athlete. So this was one of those deals worked well for both.
Well, Chassin, as you look at Bruce Bochy, it's hard to believe after all those years in San Diego, it's now year number 6 in San Francisco for Boch. Won the World Series title 2 years ago. So a walk by Chassin of Cabrera, and you'll deal with Sandoval again with a man aboard and 1 out.
Stay out of the middle half in. You can see Hernandez set to the outside corner, misses high and wide. On the home run, a bad miss. Wanted the ball down and away. You've got it down and in. It's the sinker, and it's at 88, but right into the happy zone of Pablo Sandoval. 6 RBIs on the year now for Sandoval.
2-0.
See what that location of that pitch. You can see on your forward strike zone. That's middle half down. And that's really not a spot you want to go to, particularly straight. And now with this at bat, missing very badly up and away for the 3rd time.
That's 3-0. Sandoval, since late last year, actually since the start of last season, let me correct that. He missed 40 games with a hamate bone injury that required surgery. 12 for his last 24 against the Rockies. Of those 12 hits, 5 are home runs. And he'll be firing here. You got to be careful. 3-0, and it's not close. So now back-to-back walks, and you have the cleanup man, Aubrey Huff, coming up. Walking yourself into a problem. And now walking out to the mound, Bob Apodaca.
48 pitches in this game, 26 for strikes. It was just a direct opposite of that yesterday with Nicasio and also with Guthrie and even Jamie Moyer. So if you compounding your problems, if you stay out of the strike zone and start to aim versus allowing that arm to do the work, that great arm to go right at your catcher and see what can happen. Up this year, yet to get a base hit with runners in scoring position. He's 0 for 4. Hope that continues. Put one on the ground and get a double play. You got 2 good candidates with Sandoval at first and Huff at the plate.
You do. Aubrey last year, George, really struggled. 246 average, 12 home runs, 59 ribbies after the gorgeous season he had in 2010. Led that Giant offense, helped lead it to a World Series title. Had a strong spring. He doubled his first time up.
First time in his career when they won the World Series that he had been around that type of atmosphere. They rewarded him. He became fairly rich, $22 million over 2 years, and you know, maybe trying to do too much, even though a veteran, trying to repeat what he did the year of the World Series.
It's 2-1.
See, I always found better for me personally, when I was struggling with my fastball, I went to the slider or change, because it seemed to slow my body down a little bit, slow the game down for me. It's been a steady diet of fastballs, and it's been 6 wide. Doesn't work for everyone, but it did work for me.
Two on, 1 out. 2-0 San Francisco. Here's a 2-1 to Huff. And it's 3-1.
Slider that time.
The Giants' credit, a lot of these pitches have missed by a lot. So I'm going to give them credit for patience on one hand. On the other hand, some of these pitches pretty easy to look at and say, hey, it's not like that's shaving a corner. Big misses.
Big high and wide misses. Got out in front of this pitch, pulled it on a changeup on a 3-1 count, going to different pitches. The Camarena Loft, located in center field, is a great option for your group, available for up to 95 people. So book it now by calling 303-ROCKIES or go to ColoradoRockies.com.
It's a newly expanded. Yeah, they went from 60 some odd seats in there to, I believe, close to 100. We had a lot of fun up there. We were up there a couple times doing broadcasts last year.
I hope to do more this year. Just not in a snowstorm.
No. 3-2, runners moving, and it's fouled back.
Bruce Bochy trying to stay out of the double play by putting everybody in motion on a 3-2 count. You figure that's just about mandatory. Expected of Bruce Bochy and people in baseball. What it does do, though, it opens up spots in your infield.
You can do it because Cabrera runs decent on the front side of it, because you have an open side for Hernandez if you got a punch out. But Cabrera runs pretty well. Tulowitzki's trying to keep him close to the bag. They take off again, and it doesn't matter. That's 3 straight walks. Hard to defend the base on balls, as it has been said many, many times through the years in baseball. And now with the bases loaded, Hector Sanchez coming up. 55 pitches in already for Chacín, and this is more reminiscent of his struggles in the second half last year as opposed to the first half. Through June 15th of last year, Chacín had an 8-4 record. He's being mentioned as a possible all-star, 2.81 ERA, and the league was hitting just 196 against him.
Second half, a lot different. First 10 batters he's faced in this game, he had 0 3 ball counts. Now he's had 3 straight.
And he misses there. He's got way too fine. On the outside corner. And get the Bronx cheer. At third base, Melky Cabrera, he walked. Sandoval's at second, he walked. Aubrey Huff just walked, he's at first. It's already 2-0 San Francisco.
Pretty good situation right now because you have a young catcher that a year ago traveled, as we mentioned, high A to the big leagues. Bases are loaded. Hasn't got a hit this year. Hasn't driven in a run. Maybe you could catch him getting aggressive and get him to chase a ball on a 1-2 count.
Here's the 1-2 outside, 2-2. Fastball velocity right around 90, George, and just down a tick from where we've seen him in the past. This ball's a base hit to right. That'll score at least one. Kadire up with it. Sandoval will hold at third. Good throw by Michael Kadire. It is 3-0 San Francisco. Hector Sanchez with an RBI single, his first hit of 2012.
I think that bullpen will start to get busy here because of the pitch count, location, and results. That ball up in the strike zone. Sanchez really set on that back foot, a little toe tap, loaded, and made the swing to make it a productive swing, a line shot to right field. You mentioned Cabrera, but now you also see the arm of Kadire. An above average arm in right field, and Jim Tracy thinking opening day down 3-0 to this ball club.
And now you have a tough guy to double in Pagan. If you're thinking, well, you get a ground ball here. Pagan, great wheels. Switch hitter moving out of the left side. Esmil Rogers is up. Oh, 2. It's not unusual if you're wondering what Esmill's doing, saying, hey, he's not on the rubber to get loose. George, I know you're a big proponent of this. Throw 6-7 uphill.
Uphill to get your extension down. Typically, I would move that catcher 15, 20 feet closer and have him squat down to do that, to get the feel and release of finishing your pitches.
1-2. Unfortunately, so far for Jolis, this is very similar to what we saw in spring training, George.
Yeah, not good at all. 34 strikes, 29 balls, 63, and you're in the third inning with just one out and the bases loaded. Not what you want to have happen in this park on opening day.
To first, fair ball. Helton's got a hustle. Pagan running. He'll get an out. A run scores. Great job by Todd keeping it in the infield. And Pagan, with the RBI ground out, makes it 4-0 as Cabrera scores.
This is a great play by Todd Helton. Second one he's made in the ball game. This ball hooked. He dives for the baseball. It popped out of his glove. Then the flip by Chacin to get there. You're not out of the woods yet. Boy, I tell you what. He might be 38, but he moves like he's 28 when it comes to the ground balls. Makes another nice play on a ball.
Brandon Crawford at the plate. 8th man to hit here in the third inning.
Todd making his 1955th start at first base. His 12th all time. Murray led it with 24:04.
I'll tell you what, it becomes of profound importance here to find a way to get this third out without any more damage. You're already behind 4-0. Yeah, it's Coors Field. Yeah, you feel like you have a good offense.
Well, what it does, Zito.
But you start throwing 5-6 run deficit up, you don't come back from too many of those.
Well, I guarantee you, with them being 0-3 on the season too, that it's not going to be a long leash with Zito. If he starts to get in trouble, they'll go to that bullpen in a hurry. They have an 8-man bullpen.
3-0 and ball 4. Fourth walk of the inning. It's almost as if he would have rather gone right on right with Terrio, but the bases are loaded again. And Terrio hit above 270 last year with St. Louis. Truth be told, Ryan Terrio is a much better hitter than Brandon Crawford. I know one's lefty and one's righty, but Terrio's the more accomplished hitter, the more seasoned guy at the big league level than Brandon Crawford.
Well, we mentioned earlier, for over 40 games in his career against the Rockies, he's hit over 300, and not only that, Crawford's a young kid. Played last year sparingly, then went to the Arizona Fall League and played there. Made this ball club, it's a shortstop.
Of course, Terrio in his career has played mostly shortstop. Playing second right now, Freddie Sanchez. Boy, he's just, every time you look up, he is hurt. He's on the DL.
I love the type of player I like to watch play the game, Freddie Sanchez.
Freddie's a terrific player. Just can't stay healthy. Ramon Hernandez is going to need a bubble bath at the end of this inning. He's been out there forever. Here's the 1-1. 1-2. You talk about a short leash, George. There's an old line that you've often repeated. Trouble once, okay, in trouble twice. Third time, you go get them.
Third time, they've got to take a shower and wait for the next time.
Swung on and missed. Chacin will get to the dugout. More damage for San Francisco. They send 8 to the plate, 2 come around. 4-0 Giants, middle of 3. for their first base runner against Barry Zito. They'll have the bottom third of the lineup: Ramon Hernandez, Chris Nelson, Yolis Chassin. Drew Goodman, George Frazier upstairs. And we've been joined by, we're used to saying Mayor John Hickenlooper, but now we say Governor John Hickenlooper. How are you?
Just call me Hick.
Hick?
Hey, you did pretty good.
That's what I call Frazier.
Hey, I'm a Hick. I am a Hick. I'm a true Hick. You did pretty good on the first pitch. I was proud of you.
You know, I warmed up a little bit with Barry Hancock.
You practiced, didn't you?
I did a little practice. Well, you know, I was a pitcher in high school. I was a junk ball pitcher, so I've lost a little of the heat that I never had.
But you still feel it back here when you throw it.
Oh yeah.
So you and Jamie Moyer commiserate a little bit.
Well, exactly. I haven't met Jamie Moyer, but I'm a huge fan.
Do you know what? When you can talk to somebody in this day, that's a three-ring circus almost, huh?
Yeah.
Three firing at the same time.
Yeah.
You were accurate. Got Tyler Colvin catching, but when you can talk to somebody that's actually a contemporary and you've been around for a while, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
As opposed to many of the athletes now that you could say, well, that kid's old enough to be my son.
Right, or as a friend of mine said, I could have sired either one of those kids.
Well, Governor, I know you're a huge baseball fan. You've been kind enough to come up and visit with us numerous times over the years. And we said this earlier, and it's not to be gratuitous. It's not because we're here in Denver. Opening day and the fan support really throughout the year is really somewhat unique around baseball. There are other great baseball cities, but Denver is in that grouping.
I think Cincinnati, St. Louis, Denver. I mean, those are my three. When I look at opening day, what it means. I think this year it's interesting that it comes the day after Easter, right? And in the Christian religion, Easter is the kind of the most hopeful holiday. Oh gosh, we cannot get a Barry Zito. What is it?
See, you know, you've done your homework. Barry Zito, who has struggled mightily since coming from the American League, if he faces the Rockies, he flashes back to his Oakland days.
It's incredible. Like. It's like Moneyball again. Wasn't he one of the original Moneyball guys?
Yeah, he sure was. You're right. 1999 first-round draft pick.
Right, and they because he didn't give up a lot of home runs, right? He kept the ball in the ballpark. He didn't walk anybody. He just, you know.
Now, from afar, somebody might say, well, Oakland, Coliseum wasn't a great pitcher's park. It was, but he's in a great pitcher's park right now at AT&T.
Yeah. He's seeming to hold it. And this is and who thought that the Rockies would have a hard time hitting, right?
Well, it's early. That's the one thing we'll always remind people. It is early, and this ball has popped up again. Right side. I don't know if Huff can see it.
Well, the one thing the Rockies have always prided themselves in my 16 years here have been to extend the pitch counts every time.
Right.
Today he's thrown 20 pitches and faced 8 batters. That's not good.
Right.
You'd rather see it get expanded a little bit farther.
And Chacin's what, thrown 70 something?
Almost 80, yeah.
Almost 80 pitches.
What a contrast.
But isn't it neat, this ballpark in purple today? My goodness, this is really cool.
And it's not just today. It'll be Purple Mondays throughout the year. With your busy schedule, how often do you get to sneak down?
Not enough. Just not. I mean, last year I got to 8 games, 9 games.
And some are partial, right?
Yeah, or you get interrupted. But I'm gonna this year, come hell or high water, I'm gonna get to 12 games.
And I know your son, your 10-year-old, is a huge baseball fan, right?
He's a big baseball fan. So I'll get him down here. I was gonna bring him down today, and I thought, well, that's not very good imagery to have him skip school for opening day. But
well, hold on a second. I did.
Can I say
my
something?
My boys, this is a holiday. Chacin's going to get the first hit for the Rockies. Wouldn't you figure that, huh?
Now this early, you guys could tell me this early in the season, how many pitches are they going to let Chacin pitch? They didn't put a pitcher up, but it's 80.
Well, yeah, probably he's got 25 more maybe, but if he's ineffective early next inning, they'll have to go get him, because there's an old line we were talking about when you were getting ready to come on, that if you're in trouble, that third time you get in trouble as a starting pitcher, even if you're able to wiggle out of it a couple of times, right, usually the manager's going to say, hey, it's not your day, and you move on.
Right. Well, I think Julius Chacin is a great kid, and all these kids. I thought Ocasio, if he can come and have a great year, all these young arms they've got.
What a wonderful performance yesterday for Juan. 7 innings, he gave up just 1 run. He was dominant. He overwhelmed Houston at times. Unfortunately, he didn't get the W yesterday, but He'll get a lot of wins throwing like he did yesterday.
In the end, you know that he's going to, that Gonzalez and Tulowitzki, all these guys are going to hit.
Tulowitzki made the comment yesterday, pitchers, even though they get a little ahead of the batters in spring training, you don't get to see the everyday guys. And usually at the first start of the week of the season, you run into that same thing. Pitchers are a little ahead of the hitters, and then they start to catch back up again.
I never thought of that, but you're right.
Scudero showing patience, which we saw in Boston last year, Toronto before that. Saw it on display this weekend in Houston. He's got a 3-0 count.
So you start talking about stretching the counts out, and all of a sudden they do it. That's impressive. Drew, I'm impressed that you could direct the team like that.
Every once in a while.
Headsets. They, like quarterbacks in the NFL, they have headsets on down there.
Chips implanted in the temple.
That's right.
Only about 10 years from that, right?
That was a heck of a throw from the Kudyar. Is it
Kadire?
Kadire, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You've been studying other things.
What a wonderful addition he is.
He's a great addition. He can flat out play. He's a marvelous player, first and foremost.
Well, the big key is he's a winner. He's been on winners with Minnesota. They had a down year last year, but he's been in the playoffs, been to the other level of play. You're trying to get this whole ball club to understand how to get there.
Right. And in the clubhouse, he's amazing also. Line foul.
The one thing in this game, because this all balances out, but we're hitting the hard line drives either right at somebody or just foul, and their line drives are just getting through.
Part of that is you're right. The luck of the ball game will start to turn to your side, and when it does, it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And they all start falling in.
Chacin on the 3-2 pitch, moving, and it's blistered through the middle. So 2 are now on for Dexter Fowler. It's the first clean single for the Rockies. Marco Scudero.
You're wondering, too, if Bruce Bochy looking down in the dugouts thinking, all right, how far do I go? All of a sudden, those line drives are getting into the outfield grass all of a sudden.
Exactly.
How long am I going to go with a 4-run lead? We started the season 0-3. Arizona swept us. Where do we go with this? But at this point, before he gets to that bottom or that middle of that lineup of the Rockies, Zito will get an opportunity to work his way out of this thing, and deservedly so. He's pitched well the first 2+ innings.
Jumps that famous curveball of his in on Dexter Fowler. Last time we saw him, and you probably remember this, Governor, he had the kind of the double pump windup. He's dispatched that.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Of course, you're not going to see it out of the stretch, but he's different.
He's tried everything because signing that contract, this is one guy that is a big-hearted, very giving ball player to his community, and he feels like he's really let down the San Francisco Giants and their following after signing that 7-year, $122 million contract.
1-1 on Dex. Fouled off. One thing that everybody within that organization always points out, Barry Zito has not made one excuse. He's been an extraordinary teammate. He's worked his tail off to try to get himself right. And it just hasn't happened, but there's not been one excuse.
Great love for the game. He works very hard at his trade. It's just unfortunate. Fastball's backed up 4 to 5 miles an hour since those great years in Oakland. He's had a couple of injuries.
And he strikes out Dexter with 2 aboard. So the Rockies get a couple of hits, nothing else. 4-0 San Francisco. I know you have other people to visit with.
You guys, always a pleasure. Great to see you.
Great to see you as well.
Governor, come see us again. I'll go batting practice to your someone.
Governor Hickenlooper, 4-0 Giants. Fourth inning, Barry Zito will lead it off against Yoli Chassin, who is in desperate need of a quick and efficient inning. Rockies have scratched out just 2 hits. That came last inning against Zito. Chassin has thrown 72 pitches already, and he misses ball 1 on Zito, and we welcome in another special guest. Opening day, they're everywhere. Dante Bichette. Do you remember any opening day in particular that was more meaningful than perhaps others?
I'm not sure about that. The opening day here, Coors Field, the original, the first game ever. It was probably one of my most exciting games I ever played in.
1995, and nobody who follows the purple will ever forget it. EY was 7 when Dad went deep in '93.
That's right.
Doesn't make you feel too old. You look great, man. I mean, in great shape, except for those little tinctured gray you're putting on top of your hair. Looks great.
I decided to grow the hair back. I didn't think much would grow back, but I was surprised. A little bit grew back. So
well, last time I saw you, it was slick.
Last time I think it was nothing. Yeah. But
here's the 3-2 to Zito, and Zito hits a fly ball to shallow left, and Cargo had to run hard at the last moment to make the catch, 1 out. Let me ask you a question. In fantasy camp this year, Frazier stay in line?
Yeah, he did all right.
He did all right?
I did good with the kangaroo court. Got like $900 off of him.
He did good. Your speech about how the pitchers cheat was cheat. You know, that's I don't know.
That worked well.
You might have went a
your
little too far there.
Your team used it well.
You might have went a little too far there.
Yeah.
Hey, Dante Jr.'s doing pretty well, isn't he?
I tell you what, he's doing real well. He's facing guys that I faced, and that makes me, I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest.
Wait a second. He's facing the guys you faced?
He faced Pettit in an inner squad. He faced Tim Hudson the other night.
That's right. There are all the injury rehab guys.
Yeah.
Or in the case of Pettit, he decided to come back late, swung on and missed.
He got 2 at-bats in a big league spring training game.
Now you faced this guy.
I did. I did face him a few times. He was one of the toughest. I mean, for a guy who doesn't throw hard, I just never could get a good swing off him.
Well, you're not alone.
Yeah.
That's how you hang around for 4 decades. But if you're wondering, Dante's oldest son is in the Yankees organization, had a splendid first year in professional baseball, and he had a big spring training. He's off to a good start again.
Yeah.
He's on his way.
It was an exciting moment this year. He got called up, he calls Joe Girardi Uncle Joe because Joe used to rock him to sleep at night.
Sure.
He got called up, and the first 2 pitches he saw he hit out of the park in big league camp. One was off a big league pitcher. And Joe texted me later on that he was having trouble holding back tears while he was managing. It's a new one for him.
Hey, you guys had developed a very, very close relationship. There's a walk to Blanco, and that's number 5. And if you're Jim Tracy, you got more action in the bullpen, and now here comes the stall game. If you don't have it, you don't have it, and that happens on occasions. And unfortunately, you see Matt Reynolds work, and Chassin does not have it.
Well, he's trying to flip Cabrera in left, and you get Sandoval. You've got your line, so that's why he's got Rogers down, and he's got the left-hander Reynolds up to come and get him out of this inning. Cousins knows what's going on. Darryl Cousins, the home plate umpire, he had started a slow walk out. Now Apodaca's going to jog out. That'll buy a couple more minutes. Then you wait on the tip of the hat down in the bullpen for Jimmy Wright to say, yep, he's ready. Kid, I hate to tell you, just don't have today. And that guy warming up in the bullpen, let's talk. What do you want to talk about? Because we got about 3 minutes here before that home plate umpire comes out to break this up and send me back to the dugout. And at that point, you're going to be walking with me.
And then Jim Tracy will make the slow walk out. So I think you can add to this. If you really want to kill time, the pitching coach can trip over a blade of grass, go down.
Oh, no, the
around
catcher
for
runs
a
back
second.
out and says, hey, what sign did you want to use for a curveball? I forgot.
They're working it.
Oh, you have to right now. Jim's going to let him maybe face this guy. It looks like he is.
He's not going to face Sandoval unless he somehow gets a double play off the bat of Cabrera.
And he may not have a choice. If Reynolds isn't ready yet, obviously then you're not going to have the choice but to allow him to face the bat.
You think 3 or 4 pickoffs and then go get him?
Well, that's another thing. You can always do that.
Dante, you were here in the early days, and I was telling this story earlier today. Back in 1991, Bill White, when he came here, it was clear that his body language was, it's not going to work. People aren't going to come out. The weather's questionable. I mean, Bill was working in New York. This is a high fly ball to deep right field. It's going to stay in the park. Dyer in the middle of the track makes the catch. And as you would know as well as anybody, not only did it work out, every attendance record in baseball is owned by these fans. Last year, almost 3 million people. You played a number of places. How special now in reflection was this community and its love affair with the Rockies?
Oh, it was incredible, especially those first 2-3 years when it was all new. The 80-some thousand opening series every game, 60-some thousand we averaged for the first 2-3 years, especially Mile High when they could handle it. I remember a special moment that I always think of when I broke my hand the first year, was walking onto the field, and the camera panned to me, and I got a standing ovation from 60, 70,000, I don't know, and I was like, just for breaking my hand. I was like, wow, they were just so excited to have baseball, and it looks like they still are excited to have baseball.
0-1 on Sandoval. Hernandez sets up off the outside corner, and he challenged him. He missed location. But it's 0-2.
Pretty happy swing, though. I mean, he came out of his shoes trying to hit this thing farther than he did the one earlier in the ball game. Just missed it.
Two outs, Blanco at first. Are you still swinging? Last year I asked you this during fantasy camp. Are you swinging it or pitching now? What are you doing?
Both.
A little of both?
Time out. Time out. We had a camper that chirped a little bit, and I can't remember his name. But he was talking pretty good on Dante, and he came inside heat, and we were playing in that exact dimension ballpark that they have out the back door and to the right. And there was 3 alarms that went off on the cars when it hit. I mean, he smokes this thing in the left field, and he even had a little flip of the hands and a little bit of the hop coming out of home plate area.
Yeah, that was wasn't too
that
far.
was a missile.
Wasn't too different when I played. Swing as hard as you can in case you hit me.
Yeah, you hit a lot of them. Chacin gets Sandoval, puts the inning down. Dante, it's always a pleasure. I know you're going to be running around the ballpark. Good to see you, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
And good luck with the boys.
All right.
All right, Dante Bichette, opening day hero from 95. 4-0 Giants. Again with Jenny Kavnar. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Drew, you know what? Lots of optimism on opening day. Obviously, the score doesn't reflect that right now, but these fans decked out in purple are here to root on the Rockies, and they want home field advantage back. Last year, the Rockies just had 38 wins here at Coors Field. The last couple years before that, they got over 50 wins. So how do you get that back? Well, you put your fans in purple on Mondays. You know why, Drew? Because purple means royalty, and that's exactly how you should treat your team, right?
Without question. Cargo takes a slider for a strike. Carlos struck out his first time. Hit well over 400 against Barry Zito in his career. Outside 1-1.
Off-speed stuff out here that's running away gives him the most fits. That pitch there. Now, when he lays off of that and you force the issue to get back onto the plate, that's when he has success. But if he gets too aggressive like he was early, the results seem to favor the pitcher.
2-1 and one hopper to Terrio. Broken bat, one out. And that'll bring up Tulowitzki. Troy popped to second his first time up. Here's the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Mo. You know what? I knew I was going to butcher that.
Actually, I thought that was pretty good. That's a whole lot to say like that.
I got a stat for you, George, and you're going to
Yes.
say, where'd you dig this up? I read it somewhere.
You dug it up from Doug. Go ahead.
No, this one didn't even come from Doug. Last year, Carlos Gonzalez led Major League Baseball in broken bats. And if you think about it, not a surprise. And a lot of those broken bats turned out to be hits.
Strong man.
Yeah. Two and 0.
Do you remember the first bat you bought and what name was on it?
That's a great question. I remember this much. I remember a bat I had as a kid. I grew up right when it was transitioning to aluminum, but I did have a couple of wood bats early on. And my dad got me a Willie Mays bat, and I was so excited. And we're playing down at the park. And I was in the field first. One of my buddies picks it up. He goes, "Can I use it?" Kid, you begrudgingly say, "Yes, yeah, no problem. You want to be unselfish." Boom. Second pitch.
Not good.
Never got to swing the Willie Mays bat.
Stan the Man Musial.
This ball hard to third off of Sandoval and into left field for a base hit. And now Pablo Sandoval getting up and making sure he's got all his teeth and everything else. We saw a scary thing in spring training when Miguel Cabrera had a bad hop come up and hit him below the eye and fractured a facial bone.
Well, all about really being able to react to that ball. As that ball popped up when it was hit, he moved over in front of it, and it was like, oh my. I'm going to bail and roll out of this thing in a hurry.
I get the feeling if the Rockies just put a couple of things together, they can figure out a way to get rolling against Zito. Elton takes the curveball, ball one. Todd, a career .421 on base percentage, which leads all active players at 17th all time. Last year, he was at .385 in on base percentage. That was 9th in the National League. And he works under this one. Michael Kadire will come up as we glance at today's AT&T trivia question. Who is the only National League West team Colorado has never played in a home opener? Kadire hit a hard smash to short his first time up. Tulowitzki with 2 outs at first base. 4-0 Giants, bottom of 4. Wonderful crowd, marvelous crowd. Unfortunately, they've had nothing to cheer about so far. third batter of the game, Pablo Sandoval, hit a monstrous 2-run home run. It's been all Giants. And this is going to tail into the crowd foul down the right field line.
2011, a down year for the Twins, but not for Michael Kadire against left-handers. He hit .311 with 10 home runs and 151 at-bats.
Kadire, for the first time in his career last season, was an all-star.
And that's only because of all the other players that were on that team. Watch out.
Yeah, that's a great point, George. I think if he plays for a number of other teams in baseball, it's probably his third or fourth all-star game. But when you have Morneau and Mauer and Nathan.
Pretty good chance you're not going to make it.
Torrey Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, they had some great players on those teams for a long time.
Those are very solid numbers. 09 career high 32 jacks. That was the final year at the Metrodome. Tulowitzki takes off, and Zito's got it. And once again, the Rockies come up empty against Barry Zito. 4-0 as we move to the fifth. Fifth inning. All right, you've had enough time to think about the AT&T trivia question. Who's the only National League West team the Rockies have never faced in a home opener? They faced Arizona a ton, I'll tell you that much. Los Angeles. Today's the first time the Rockies have opened at home against the Giants. 3 times against the Padres. Dodgers off to a good start. See that ball Kemp hit out yesterday, George? That was about ankle high, and he hit it out to dead center field.
I'm saying that this guy's just on the brink. They gave him that contract for a reason. He's on the brink of becoming a 40-40 guy. He just missed it last year by 1. He had the 40 stolen bases, which was very hard to do. But he is on the brink becoming something very, very special. The Rockies have gone to the bullpen. Matt Reynolds, the left-hander, is coming into the ballgame, making his first appearance of 2012. But the Rockies trailing 4-0. We will get a look at Aubrey Hope, the left-hander, to start things out. Hector Sanchez.
4 runs on 4 hits, 5 walks in 4 innings for Jhoulys Chacín. He struck out 2. Fastball command is something he paid particular attention to during spring training, George, and he didn't have any fastball command today.
5 walks. Can't happen. A lot of 3-ball counts. And this is something he knows. This is something he understands. This is not something that's unusual. That foul ball line drive that went into the seats is, unfortunately, it has caught a fan, and Daryl Cousins, the home plate umpire, has stopped the game for a few minutes. Bob Davidson, Denver native, working at first base today.
We say this once every few weeks during the season. When you come out to the ballpark, enjoy yourselves, have a blast, be respectful naturally. But if you are down low, please, please, please pay attention. Don't, when the pitch is going to the plate, that's not, don't turn and look for something or try to grab a bite of the hot dog then. Watch the pitch while you converse with friends and family. But be aware. Be aware. We see it all the time. A wicked line shot into the stands. Scary stuff. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. Matt Reynolds in the top of the 5th against Aubrey Huff when we return. 40-0 Giants. Open an account today at College Invest. You can for as little as $25. collegeinvest.org. They continue to work on a lady who was hit by that foul ball, and she was not hit, fortunately, in the head. But they are going to take her out via the field. It's the easiest way to do it. There's a cart down there waiting along the third base line. When my boys were really young, George, with my wife, I didn't allow them to sit down that close. They'd get upset, but got to sit a little further back.
Well, it's tough to cover, and it's a hard situation. The ball was hit hard into the stands.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things that
you don't have a lot of time to react.
It happens at a game, and even people in the level we're on can get the same type of deal with foul balls if you're not paying attention. It's unfortunate, very unfortunate, but yet a part of the game. And being here at the ballpark.
George, they didn't have this when you and Huey were playing, but one of the smartest things Major League Baseball did, and I assume it's mandatory because every park has done it, is put the fencing up in front of the dugouts.
Well, it's a safety issue more than anything else, in front of the camera wells, in front of the area there, but yet you're still in a very vulnerable position.
So again, Matt Reynolds will make his 2012 debut here in the 5th inning. Aubrey Huff, Hector Sanchez, Angel Pagan. 4 switch hitters in the lineup for the Giants. Hector Sanchez, Angel Pagan, both switch hitters, so they'll flip to the right side. Huff bats from the left side.
It's a good time to get Matt in a ball game. Let him work a few innings here. do up third, maybe 1 inning, then let Rogers work. The key right now was Zito pitching, and I know Zito's had great success against the Rockies. I understand it. I get it. But he has a history of not pitching well in a Giant uniform. Maybe it's the one chance you get a shot at getting after him a little bit. Although, you know, he's worked through 4 innings. He's given up just 3 hits. They haven't hit the ball particularly hard off of him. Making pitches when he needs to. Maintained this game at 4-0. The other night in Houston, they were unable to do that in Jamie Moyer's game, which ended up being a loss, 7-3. But when the bullpen entered, it was 4-3 or 4-2. I'm sorry.
And the first 2 missed. Aubrey Huff. 2-0. Huff a double in the first, and he walked in the third. 2 runs in the first on the Pablo Sandoval home run. 2 more in the third inning. And this is a good pitch. Tulowitzki's got to go out. Cargo coming hard, and Cargo drops the baseball. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I don't know if I've ever seen him drop a ball. A lot of wind up there. But that's clearly a play that he makes all day long.
Well, he really does. I mean, Tulowitzki's back. He's going to lay off of it. Comes in to catch the baseball, closes a little early, and the ball just pops out of the end of that webbing.
Last year, he should have won another Gold Glove. He had one in 2010. Look at this. Base hit. Wouldn't you know it? Right behind him. Now you got 2 on and nobody out. Rockies have committed 5 errors now in the last 3 games. Yesterday, if they play a clean baseball game late, they probably come home 2-1 instead of 1-2.
Well, through the first 3 games, this one thing the Giants and the Rockies have always prided themselves on, particularly the Rockies. The Rockies 27th in baseball with a 96 fielding percentage. The Giants are 30th in baseball right now.
Giants made 3 errors yesterday. Arizona made 5 errors and 1. That infield, George, evidently down in Arizona is really, really hard right now.
Because it's obviously a dryness there. I noticed that when I went to Arizona Fall League. You notice it in the spring. No matter how much you water them, it's almost to the point where you've got to till the dirt up slightly, 1 inch to 2 inches, add to it, soften it up at some point, and really water that down.
On Pagan, and it's fouled off 2-1. The Rockies have not gotten a rhythm offensively really yet this year. It's early. Talking about game 4.
Really just one player, and that's been Kadire. Nobody else has swung the bat yet.
But they have been able to get a rhythm in this game defensively. This is deep short. Tough chance for Tulowitzki, and that's not going to produce an out. It'll probably be an infield hit. It's a tough play for Troy. Scudero couldn't hang on to the short hop, and bases loaded again for the 3rd time in the ball game for the Giants, with Brandon Crawford coming up.
Just when I'm talking about maintaining a game, and they may work their way out of this inning. The error in left field by Gonzalez opened the gates to the line drive to left, and then this ball into the hole. Tulowitzki short hopped the throw on a very difficult play to Scudero. Scudero could not hang on to the baseball. It popped out.
I'm not making an excuse, but it's a fact. I was talking about rhythm, and when you're standing around, there have been 5 walks in the ball game. It's hard to get in a defensive rhythm. And make no mistake, George, you know this. There is something called a defensive rhythm.
It's 3:40 now, and you're in a 5th inning. You've been standing. You've been sitting out in the middle of the infield. You're back on your heels. It's ball 3, ball 4. All those things play into it. That's difficult.
I don't know about this scoring here. They're giving the error to Scudero.
How's that happen? Fielder's choice, E4. Okay.
2-1 on Brandon Crawford. Doesn't matter. Bases are loaded. That's line to left. Get foul. It's fair ball. Going to go in the corner. 2 runs will score. The trail runner is Pagan. He can fly. He's going to score. Bases clearing. Double. 7-0. Brandon Crawford with a 3 RBI double to the left field corner.
One of the guys struggling, 091 coming in, picks up 3 RBIs, 5 now in the season with this double down the left field line. And this game got out of hand in a hurry. Off the end of the bat versus the left-handed slider. When it hits, it's spinning up from that left-handed bat to the opposite way, so it's going to go away from Gonzalez. Gonzalez playing slightly over into the gap area, so a little longer run for him to get to the baseball, and then their speed just paid off. Pagan, who runs extremely well, scores from first, and it's a 7-0 ball game on 6 hits.
2 errors now, and there's still nobody out. Ryan Terrio at the plate. Well, this is not what 50,000 folks came out to see. This has been a poor performance both ways so far in this baseball game.
And you hate it because there is 50,000 here. There's a large viewing audience right now watching this ball game, and you just lost 2 out of 3 in Houston. You want to come home and make a good showing, so that, you know, you never know. There may be 50,000 people here today. How many first-timers? How many guys have come, let's go watch this Rockies ball club?
Line drive to help, 1 out. Yeah, I mean, it's a first impression thing. The Rockies made a number of changes in the offseason, and understandably, those that get baseball realize it's game 4 out of 162.
Right, but you want that to come in here. You'd like to be the one with 7 right now.
Well, it's how this thing's unfolded. The walks, the inability to hit Barry Zito so far in the game, the errors. And that's a strike as well. The first one's called a ball. Let me correct it. So it's 1-1 on Barry Zito. Ground ball to second and a fly ball to right field. Good decision by Reynolds.
Freeze the runner, check him, make sure he stays in place. If he gets too far off, you have the option to throw to second. He did on the first for the second out.
5th inning, and Gregor Blanco's up for the 4th time. That's never good, unless you're a Giant fan.
Exactly.
Blanco ground ball second, a strikeout, and a walk. Everybody has reached in the Giant lineup save Ryan Terrio and Barry Zito. We're not paying Barry Zito to get on.
Hey, the guy's pitched well. The one thing you want him to do, get back in the dugout, sit down, and get prepared for that next inning.
Rockies will have the bottom third of their lineup next half inning. Todd's got it, and that puts the inning down. 3 runs come around. There were 2 errors. A 3-run double for Brandon Crawford. 7-0 San Francisco. Root Sports is brought to you by Burger King, the proud sponsor of opening week of baseball. By the Ford F-150, it's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150, built Ford tough. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. Rockies need to move forward offensively. They're being shut out by Barry Zito here in the 5th inning, 7-0. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Jenny Kavnar. That pitch is high from Zito. Hernandez popped to second, his first time up. Center field, Pagan will move back and make the catch, 1 out. That'll bring up Chris Nelson. Let's take a look at our CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Barry Zito is topped out at 85. Chacin topped out at 90. Down low on Chris Nelson. He popped to first. And this time he's going to pop to center field.
Not many pitches again in this inning have been seen.
At this rate, Zito could pitch a doubleheader.
All 5 innings retiring the leadoff man has helped prevent any kind of major damage, or for Jim Tracy to even try to do anything offensively.
Eric Young Jr. will pinch hit for Matt Reynolds with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Tied on Junior. He had an impact on that ball game Friday, George. Remember, it was 3-3. Junior pinch ran. Next thing you knew, it was stolen base. Caused Houston to throw the ball all over the yard. And he scored the what proved to be the winning run.
Well, that's what Jason Castro, the catcher, said. I thought I had him caught off, and then he turned right around and made a move. Crawford reads this, dives, and able to make the catch on a line drive hit by Ewart.
Another 1-2-3 inning for Zito. We'll go to the 6th. 7-0 San Francisco. Rockies have been limited to 3 hits. Another pitching change for Colorado. Melky Cabrera, Pablo Sandoval, and Aubrey Huff will be the three for San Francisco. Esmil Rogers will make his 2012 debut.
Well, he's another guy with fastball command. It has to happen. You see the number of strikeouts, 63, but walks 47, innings pitched, giving up 14 home runs, a high earned run average, 18 games he appeared in a year ago, 13 starting.
They changed that error last inning from Scudero, which he should never have been ticketed for an error. When a ball bounces, you can't give an error to the fielder on a throw. They've given the error to Tulowitzki. I think it's probably a tough error on Troy because he had to go deep in the hole, had to leap to try to get the force out. If anything, I probably would have scored that a base hit, an infield hit. If you're going to give an error, it's got to be on Tulowitzki, not on Scudero. But if you score with us at home, the error last inning, there were two of them. Drop fly ball in left field by Carlos Gonzalez. And then the throwing error on Troy Tulowitzki. So two guys with gold gloves pick up errors last inning. Esmil Rogers is ready to go. Cabrera in the game, an infield single, a walk, and a drive to the warning track in right field. Rogers had that up and down camp, George. We saw him when he was terrific, 96, 97, getting guys out, and then there were other times where the ball got turned around a little bit on him.
That last fastball was 97. The problem has been the big base hit, 2 quick outs, and then all of a sudden, bam, you give up a bigger base hit, and then you have the problem. And again, that's a shame for a guy with this kind of an arm not to harness the ability to get people out consistently.
The line on Matt Reynolds, an inning of work. He gave up 3 runs, only one of which was earned, a couple of hits. Back up the middle, it's got eyes. Our Toyota Talk inning. 6th inning. Zach Toyota followed by a space. And your comments to 720-720. Well, the Giants yesterday, George, coughed up a 6-0 lead with Matt Cain on the hill.
Imagine that. That doesn't happen. First of all, he very rarely gets 6 runs. With that kind of support,
he didn't know. He didn't know what to do with it.
Didn't know how to act.
No. Have a great 20th season. Great day for a ball game. Love to see Purple Mondays. It's a great idea. If Moyer can still pitch, when are we going to see Frazier take the mound?
Never. Fantasy camp. Come to fantasy camp, folks. Buy it. It's a lot of fun. I'll rip you in kangaroo court and I'll throw it to you. All in the same 3 days.
How long did you ice for?
Huh?
How long were you icing for after that?
12 days. Actually, this year I didn't pitch at all. I played right field because I could throw, but I couldn't run. And Apodaca played next to me because he could run but couldn't throw. So we both played right field together. He would get it, toss it to me, and I'd throw it in.
I don't know why more teams don't employ that. Some teams, every once in a while, Tony's done this, put 5 infielders. I don't know why you don't go with the dual right fielders. I've never understood that. Sandoval takes down 3-1. Swung on and missed, 3-2. Melky Cabrera at first, nobody out. 3-2 on Sandoval. He takes off, swung on a miss, throw to second, and it'll be a strike him out, throw him out. Good throw, Ramon Hernandez. George, he realized he had a lot of time. Watch how he delivered this baseball. He made sure of it.
Absolutely. The arm was cocked straight back. The throw was straight on the money. Bochy, a couple of guys that he felt like danger of a double play ball have put in play. Put everybody in motion. It worked in the favor of the Rockies, though, not Bruce Bochy.
You know, last year, Ramon Hernandez with the Reds, George, you talk about his offense, 282 average, hit a dozen home runs, really playing only half the time. He was also third in baseball. He threw out 37% plus would-be base stealers.
What do you think the happy number is a manager can live with? 20, 25%?
It's gone way down.
Today, this because the pitcher's not holding guys on. It's not all on the catcher.
No, it's gone down from your era, though.
A lot. The Rockies were sixth last year at 33.1% of success, with Chris Iannetta doing the bulk of the catching, who's now with the Angels.
And I think that percentage will be even better this year. Hernandez and Rosario.
Would agree.
Ball 4. Aubrey Huff walks.
Hard to expect to win a game when you walk 6 guys. Very difficult to do, particularly against a club like Frisco that has some veteran guys, young guys, but there's still going to be that chance that it's going to come back and hurt you. Of the 6 walks, 3 have scored in this ball game. Make that 2 have scored.
Outside on Hector Sanchez. Sanchez making just his 7th career start behind the plate. I mean, after all, began last year in the Cal League, worked his way to the big leagues. He's just 22. He'll be 22 all season long. He won't turn 23 till the off season. 2 for 3 today and a line out. I guess Bruce Bochy said, all right, Posey not in there. And this young man has shown enough offensively that he gets to hit the 5-hole.
Well, not only that, they traded Stewart, who a year ago at the time was ahead of him as far as thought of in the organization as ready to catch at the big league level as catchers. Stewart was ahead of him at Modesto, ahead of him at AA, AAA. At the end of the year, with Posey hurt, Eli having a difficult time, both these young men came to the big leagues. In the offseason, they trade Stewart. Eli Whiteside gets sent down. Posey's your number 1 guy. The number 2 guy, Hector Sanchez.
He looks like Panda's little brother. A powerfully built switch hitter. A little weight in his derriere. There's the original Kung Fu Panda. What you said on Talk Back to the Truck, yes, you're right. on the Grand Derriere. How about this? Is this delicate enough for you? He's built like a catcher.
Is this better? Let's look at the game.
2-2.
Tell you
The
what,
Giants catcher
really gets down in his stance and squatted on both sides of those legs. And as a pitcher, you try to get a pitch in on the hands to elevate it to get him out of that crouch. And then what happens is the lower half, the bat drops under and you get a little loop in your swing. But if you stay down with him consistently and don't work ahead, it gives him a chance to drive the ball from that crouch.
Huff will be off with the pitch. 3-2 on Hector Sanchez. Nope, moves behind him. And it's ground ball to Todd. Easy play. Rogers gave up a hit and a walk, nothing else across. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Rockies on the wrong end of a 7-0 count.
That's the bummer part. The fun part is the fans are here enjoying a good time. And I am sitting next to Don Bruno, who has been at every single opening day in Rockies history. What gets you excited about days like today?
It's like a new beginning. It's the spring of hope. Everybody's got a chance at the World Series on opening day.
Very optimistic, and I like that, but you're allowed to be.
We're only down 1 touchdown.
That's it, right? We got to get Peyton Manning out here and see what can happen. You know, Don has been a baseball fan in Denver for so long, though. You talk Zephyrs, you talk Bears. What's it been like over the course of the last 20 seasons to have a professional franchise like the Rockies in Denver?
Oh, I can remember. I never thought it would happen in my lifetime, you know, to get a National League team. I remember when they were saying Denver would never support, you know, not just baseball. They said, you know, any kind of sport. We're not a large city, but there's not a sport that Denver fans doesn't support.
Well, you're a great supporter. We appreciate you wearing purple on Purple Monday as well. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
So many great fans from up and down the Front Range, on the other side of the hills, Grand Junction now, where the Rockies are going to have a short season team. Marco Scutero against Barry Zito.
You know, and that's a great fit in Grand Junction with the National Junior College Tournament that's there. Obviously been supported tremendously over a number of years in Grand Junction. I even know in summer ball when I played for the Boulder Collegians that we would go there and play a summer league game, and there would be a good crowd at a college summer league game. So I think this is really a neat thing for Grand Junction and for the Rockies to have that ball club there.
How many pop-ups have there been in this game?
A lot.
And that ball's dropped by Pagan. He was trying to communicate with Terrio going out. There's a lot of wind up there today, even though it may not appear to be. The flag's really blowing.
See his hands though, he's looking out, he's running into it, looking like, you know, I think I got it, I don't have it, but I got a question to ask you. The sun's up in the air, why are your sunglasses on the bill of your cap and not down over your eyes? It's like my daughter says, all about the look.
Dexter Fowler, fly ball center field and a strikeout, so Scutero's aboard. Curveball misses. And guess what? Another ball popped up.
10th fly ball out of the ball game.
But and they're not even fly ball. George, they're pop-ups.
Well, you know what I mean? Yeah, they're not hit hard fly balls.
No.
There was one that Scudero made early in the ball game off of Fowler in the left field, or no, it was Todd Helton in left center that he made a nice running catch on that Todd hit.
Inside on Gonzalez. Strikeout and a ground ball to second for Cargo. Scudero's got a hit. Tulowitzki has a hit. And Jolie Chassin an infield hit. That's it for the Rockies. No runs, 3 hits.
Gonzalez 8 for 19. We've talked about it in the telecast. This is the one guy in the Rockies lineup that had really gotten after Barry Zito.
This is popped up.
Wayne's going to push it.
Yeah, he's going to get it in the crowd. Like a broken record. After watching the Rockies play on Sundays, stick around every Sunday for Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy. Look for the keyword during the program and text it to 720-720 for a chance to receive prizes. And you'll hear from the skipper. You'll win great prizes as well by watching Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy every Sunday on Root Sports. 1-2. And Cargo rolls this one foul. Back up the middle off of Zito, and they'll get an out at first. 1-6-3. 2 outs. Scudero at second, Tulowitzki to the plate.
First 20,000 fans in the ballpark on April the 15th. They're going to receive a number 42 Jackie Robinson Day t-shirt courtesy of Wells Fargo. So mark that date. Get a hold of the Rockies at 1-800-388-ROCK for your tickets on that ball game.
Well, we're going to say it again today, George. It's the 6th inning. The Rockies don't have any runs against Barry Zito. He comes in typically with awful statistics. And we always say, for whatever reason, he has the Rockies number. This is a fly ball down the right field line. Pop up now in foul ground. Huff makes the catch. I'm trying to think of a ball hit hard. Maybe Tulo's base hit, the only ball hit hard against Zito. Inning. 2 runs in the first on a Pablo Sandoval home run against Yoli Chassin. They got 2 more runs against him in the 3rd inning. Then they got 3 runs, 2 of which were unearned against Matt Reynolds in the 5th inning. The Rockies have reached second base twice.
Zito, 72 pitches through 6. I mean, that is above outstanding.
That's what Chassin had in 3 innings. 2nd inning of work for Esmil Rogers. Ball 1 on Angel Pagan. 30-year-old from Puerto Rico. Pagan went to Fort Pierce Community College in Florida. Not unusual for kids from Puerto Rico to go to college in the United States. A lot of baseball players end up doing that as well.
Yeah, interesting. Collinsville, Oklahoma, a year ago won the state championship. They had 5 kids that were from Puerto Rico that an attorney from the States had brought over. He basically had to live with him there at Collinsville and played. They're both, all 5 are playing at junior college now throughout Oklahoma, and a chance to play professional baseball or go on. 7 walks in the ball game.
Brandon Crawford coming up. Burger King box score, game summary, if you will. Sandoval, 2-run home run, as we talked about. Crawford had the bases clearing double in the 5th inning. Nothing going for the Rockies today. Offensively, on the hill, or defensively, they've committed 2 errors.
Crawford, that big double back in the 5th inning. Shot it down the left field corner. Cleared the bases.
Tomorrow is a scheduled day off. Major League Baseball does that frequently at the beginning of the season.
And you know why they do that, don't you?
Just in case there's weather issues.
Weather is one.
Let guys break in slowly from spring training.
That's kind of 2, but also for a lot of these guys that don't own homes in Denver, they're unpacking trucks and trying to get somewhat of a home set up here in Denver in an apartment.
Should be 2. Out at first. That's a good turn. Tulowitzki and Scudero, 6th new second base partner for Tulowitzki in 6 years in terms of starting the season.
Well, and the ball club has not been somebody that, unfortunately, just haven't had a lot of second basemen come through the draft that they developed. They feel like they have one in Tulsa now, and that's in Rutledge. It'll end up at second base. Story that's playing in low A along with Herrera, 2 guys that play short and 3rd there, could end up at second base. So there's going to be some choices come along while Scudero plays here at the big league level.
And Trevor Story's a good-looking prospect. He's still in the lower minor leagues, but terrific year last year in short season ball.
Playing in Asheville, skipped Tri-Cities, which is an advanced short season.
We saw him, George, watch him on the backfields during spring training. He stands out.
Carries himself like a big leaguer. I mean, that's the thing for me. He plays like he belongs. Herrera, the other little shortstop they have there, too.
It's Russell Herrera.
A couple of years ago.
This could be a problem in that corner. It's foul.
Nolan Arenado off to a very fast start in Tulsa, hitting over 500. Has driven in some runs there. Their club came back yesterday, won 9-7. Rob Scahill yesterday at AAA for the Colorado Springs Ball Club in Reno, a tough place to pitch, won 5-2 there. So there's some good things happening around the Rockies minor league system right now.
I'll say it, you won't. I don't want to embarrass you. Parker Frazier, great opening ball game for him. Six shutout innings in his debut in his hometown. That's going to sneak through the right side. He hasn't been to his hometown yet, Tulsa.
He's pretty excited.
On the road, but Tulsa's his hometown. That's where he's going to perform.
Gets to live in his own house finally after the coaches and players have rented it the last 3 years. He's pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Well, Zito's going to hit, and why not? 3-hit shutout going here in the top half of the 7th inning. 72 pitches thrown. I was told by Doug, his calculator said that's 12 an inning. You'd like to be right at about 15. You feel comfortable there, so well above outstanding. Yeah, there's some guys there on that Double-A ball club. Mathis has tremendous power, an outfielder. Zwanich has always hit. Kent Mathis, yeah. Nolan Arenado. Lars Davis doing the bulk of the catching there. Paulson's back at first base, along with Kyle Rowling, a young man from Grand Junction and went to Arizona State and was a 5th-round draft pick of the Rockies. Cabrera got a win in his first start there. Edwin Cabrera, the left-handed, led all the minor leagues in strikeouts a year ago.
Got a great changeup.
Sullivan got his first save. Josh, who had a very good big leagues camp, coming back after numerous arm injuries, came back and threw the ball really hard in spring training, up to 97 and with command.
Zito looks like he's playing cricket.
I was just going to say, that was a soft serve swing. I think he's thinking 95 miles an hour. You know what? I'll just touch it. Maybe to bounce over his head. Career 101 hitter. AAA ball club stacked as well with Wood, Harris. Chad Tracy's there playing first base. Nieves is catching. Castillo's there catching with him. Christian Friedrichs, Cahill, Moscoso. They have some pitching there. They have players there. Octavino, a young man, a former #1 draft pick, claimed off waivers from the St. Louis Cardinals as they're working out of the bullpen.
Two and two on Barry Zito. Even Zito with that ugly swing, he's forced Rogers to throw now a 7th pitch, and it'll be at least 8. And he can't hit a lick. Barry got married in the offseason. A lot of women in California disappointed by that, huh?
Good looking guy.
That's foul. And Barry, not only throughout his career, I mean, you talk about a guy who reaches the big leagues, great baseball player, won 143 big league ball games, a very talented musician, and also he's a published photographer with eclectic interests.
Well, he gets an awful
look at
this.
I
know. Well, he's keeping the fans happy. You know, the other thing that Barry has done because of his success on the field and given a lucrative contract, he's donated a lot of money to charities throughout the Bay Area to help a lot of different situations there.
He's done a lot with our troops as well. He's a good man. And
stop it.
Come on, Barry. Enough. He hasn't swung the bat hard enough that if he did make contact, the ball would travel beyond the infield. But he's poking one right, poking one left. How long is this at bat, Dougie? No, Dougie fell asleep. This next pitch will be number 11. And he's got himself a hit.
A soft serve swing finally allowed the power of the fastball from Ismail Rogers to poke it into the outfield.
So I didn't think he could hit it that far.
Barry's like, you guys think this is hard, huh? Watch this. They've all been ducking for the last 9 pitches, and then he just throws the head of the bat down on a pitch on the ground. Everybody's like, get a baby. Oh, boy.
Stop it. Gregor Blanco swings and misses. as well as Zito has pitched today, he'll talk more about that in the coming days than he will be about his performance on the hill. You know how that goes. 0-1 on Blanco. And Esmill run it over to Todd Helton. There was a walk, a couple of hits, no runs. Stretch time at Coors Field in the home opener. The Rockies need a significant rally. Ramon Hernandez. Barry Zito still out there. Guy who struggled throughout spring training. Working on a 3-hit shutout. First rendition of the year of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. George, how's that arm? Nice. Remember years ago when you threw one over the, we used to have cookies? You threw one over the backstop, and the umpire wanted to eject you?
No, I was trapped. But all those scouts sitting right down there, I was going to nail one of them, I guarantee. I'll get it before the series is over. I always do. Oh, well.
Well, it's not so pretty on the scoreboard, but it is beautiful to see the stands full and a gorgeous Colorado afternoon.
I would agree with that. And a lot of these fans opening day, a lot of times when your home team scuffles and falls behind like this, they leave the yard. They have not done that here.
It is a day not to be missed. My first baseball game, my first Rockies game, my first home opener. Go Rockies. I'm really excited about the Purple Monday theme throughout the year. Year of the Fan here at 20th and Blake, 20th anniversary of the beginning of this franchise. Imagine a whole, talk about white out in the stands and purple out on Mondays. Helton, 2 fly balls to Angel Pagan in center field. Inside ball 1. One thing that has to turn around for the Rockies this year, George, and if it does, I think it'll foreshadow a good season for the Rockies this day so far, notwithstanding. The Rockies last year, 38-43 at Coors Field. It matched the worst ever record at Coors Field. It's usually a foregone conclusion the Rockies are going to win in the neighborhood of 50.
Yeah, and need to. here because out on the road, a couple of parks they really struggled in. Florida, of course, a new ballpark there. Houston, where they struggled. One of their worst records against any National League team has been in Houston.
And Todd is gone. Looks at Darrell Cousins. Thought that pitch was not in the zone.
I can't say that I blame him. You'll look on the Ford strike zone. Big old hook. He has been a master of that today, being able to put that where he needs to, and at this point centered the body of Sanchez, the catcher, and got the call from Darrell Cousins, who followed it and tracked it with his body right into the glove. Rockies' record, the worst out on the road, is in Houston, a 12-29 record.
Dyer struggled with Zito in his career, 1 for 10. And this ball is going to die before the track, 2 outs. What a lift for the Giants. Lincecum was not good in his first outing. Matt Cain was not good. Bumgarner was just okay. And Barry Zito, of all people, throwing up zeros after the Giants starting staff produced an ERA well above 8 in the weekend series down at Chase Field in Phoenix.
Think of this, his last 2 starts in spring training, 5 1/3, 16 hits, 10 runs, 10 earned runs, 5 walks and 3 strikeouts and 2 home runs. That's not pretty. But then he comes in here today and it's a 3-hit shutout through 6 2/3.
There's a strike. Hey, Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. That's a strike. 0-2 on Ramon Hernandez. His fastball's topped out at 85. Fastball's really 82 to 84. Just slightly harder than Jamie Moyer throws.
A little bit bigger hook.
Yeah,
where Moyer used the cutter, he uses the hook.
It's really gotten to the point with the pitching-rich Giants, George, would you say you'd rather face, from the Rockies' perspective, you'd rather face Cain, you'd rather face Lincecum even, Bumgarner, than Zito, just looking at the history?
Absolutely you would, because if he wins today, he's 6-2 against the Rockies.
With a real small ERA.
Under 240.
Yeah.
Well, Lincecum, I believe, Doug was going to look this up for Wednesday's game, but I believe his 6 losses versus the Rockies, he's 8-6 in his career. That's the most losses he has, what ties actually with Arizona, with 6 losses also against all opponents he's faced. So the Rockies have handled Lincecum.
Is that a strike? Or foul ball? Darrell Cousins pointed down to see if there was a swing with Bob Davidson.
Do you see what just happened?
There's never an indication.
I'm sorry. Do you have the toss of this, guys, afterwards when he walked up after he switched balls? We're going to look right here real quick. Boy, that's a pretty close swing. He just closed his glove early and turned his head. Oh. I see why there's a little pocket. No, the reason I'm giggling a little bit, because home plate Darrell Cousins tossed the ball to Hector Sanchez.
Down the line, that's a fair ball. And that'll get to the corner. A 2-out double for Ramon Hernandez. Just the 4th hit for the Rockies' first extra base hit. That'll bring up Chris Nelson.
And to finish that thought, when Hector tossed the ball back, it hit Darrell Cousins had looked down and hit him in the top of the head. And he's hunting around for the baseball. This ball coming to the inside half of the plate, got up on top of it, extended on a high pitch and shot it right by Sandoval down the third base line. Even with a 7-run lead, Sandoval not far off of the line. But because that ball was hit so hard, no play to be made.
So far this year, the Rockies just 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position. Nelson looking for his first knock of the year. Popped to first and hit a fly ball to center field. Jordan Pacheco in the on-deck circle if Nelson can reach. Rockies 5-13 against San Francisco last year. Curveball in, 2-2. Nine-game homestand for the Rockies. Arizona and San Diego to follow. Zito's got it. Fires to first. Hernandez left at second. 7 innings complete, 7-0 San Francisco. Giants ahead 7-0 as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Well, the story of the day has been Barry Zito. He has confounded the Rockies once again. He had great numbers coming in, and he's thrown 7 shutout innings. Low pitch count. Jordan Pacheco in at third, double switch. Josh Renicke's now on the hill. Chris Nelson comes out of the ball game. Second appearance this year for Renicky.
Yeah, the other day, very rusty in that outing. He hadn't pitched for a while, came in as unusually wild, which is not something he normally is. He pounds the zone with 3 pitches, particularly the breaking ball and the fastball.
Oh, and 2 on Melky Cabrera. 2 for 3 and a walk today for Cabrera. 3 .305 batting average last year for Melky. 18 home runs. He drove an 87 in a Royal uniform. The Giants last in the National League in scoring runs a year ago. Renicky strikes him out. And that'll bring up Kung Fu Panda. Bruce Bochy. His club ended up finishing 8 games off the pace of the Diamondbacks last year in second position. Ahead of the Dodgers was the Rockies and Padres rounding out the division. And all winter long, the Giants brass and their fans felt like had they had some more offense, they could have repeated as a playoff team in 2011 and had a chance to defend their World Series crown. Got outstanding pitching again. You know, the irony, George, of the Giants losing 3 one-run games down in Phoenix is they've been among the top 2 or 3 teams in baseball the last couple of years in winning one-run games.
Absolutely, they have been because of that strong bullpen. How many people showed up today? 49,000, how many?
49,282. And there's a whole lot of folks on the other side mingling, enjoying the great weather in Lodo and the fine establishments in Lodo. Two and two. Barry Zito, 75 pitches, George, through 7 innings.
Amazing.
He has only 2 complete games as a member of the Giants. Think about that. Rollover ground ball. Scudero's got it. Sandoval's retired. 2 gone. Want the inside scoop on upcoming Rockies games? Text alerts to 720-720. Receive text message updates from Root Sports all season long. What did we do before smartphones?
Well, I'll tell you kind of a funny story. I was up in my attic the other day at home getting some things for my grandchildren, and I ran into my first cell phone. Remember the one that looked identical to a briefcase?
Yeah.
Weighed about 17 pounds.
0-2 on Aubrey Huff. I'll tell you what I remember about it. My wife and I each had one, and we had 25-minute plans for the month. They were for emergencies, right?
That's exactly
Kind of shoved it under the front seat of the car.
Last year, the Giants, you know, if you have great pitching, you want to have great defense. Well, last year they had good pitching, but they were 14th in the major leagues, kind of in the middle defensively.
Good inning from Renicky. been all Giants. First inning, they jumped on Yoli Chassin. Sandoval hit a 2-run home run to the second deck with Melky Cabrera aboard. In the third inning, Hector Sanchez, the young catcher, singles in a run. And then Angel Pagan, an RBI ground out. Great play by Todd Helton to keep that thing from going down the line. And then with the bases loaded in the fifth inning, Brandon Crawford lined a double down the third base line, clearing the bases. You get the picture. It's brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Barry Zito in the eighth inning facing Jordan Pacheco. He came in at third base in a double switch last half inning. The veteran Clay Hensley on the right side, and the former Rocky and veteran and Colorado resident Javier Lopez. Javi was up in Golden, Colorado. Strike count on Pacheco. The throwing error yesterday for Jordan was strange. Not that you're not going to have errors. You're going to have errors. You play this game, you're going to have errors. You're going to have good days, bad days. We all know that. But Jordan has a really strong throwing arm.
Yeah, and I liked his comment in the paper. He said, it's all on me. I didn't get a grip on the baseball, and I short hopped it to first. He said, there's no excuse for that. Should have made the play.
Two. Drive to deep left field, and it's going to hook foul. Ask Jordan if he came to Denver a lot as a kid. You know, he grew up in the Albuquerque area, went on, became a big star at the University of New Mexico with travel teams.
Well, in summertime, though, you're spending time traveling. That's the hard part, but he plays a lot of tournaments probably here in the city.
Well, he actually did, because he was a big basketball player, and so he ended up staying back and playing a lot of basketball games in the summer. And Pacheco strikes out. Fourth strikeout for Zito.
9 starts last year. Zito never made it to 100 pitches.
Marco Scudero coming up. He's 1 for 3. Time for the Excel Energy High Efficiency Inning, brought to you by Excel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. Good inning from Josh Renicky.
Well, he just pitched a couple of days ago, so now a little bit more in rhythm with what you're doing and having that long layoff. Hey, Drew, here's another fly ball.
Pagan's been busy. 2 outs. That'll bring up Fowler. He's hit a fly ball to Pagan. He has struck out. He's hit a fly ball to Melky Cabrera in right. Three singles and a double. One of the singles for the Rockies, an infield hit by Yoli Chassin back in the third inning. And you think about it, now you start to break down the hits. Tulowitzki's hit was a hard smash off the body of Pablo Sandoval. Scutaro rolled one through the infield, and Hernandez was a hard ground ball down the third base line. And there have not been any loud outs. Zito, this has been a flashback performance for Barry Zito. He's got a 1-2-3 inning here in the 8th. This is circa 2002 when he won a Cy Young for the A's. 7-0. Josh Renicky will work his second inning. Hector Sanchez, Angel Pagan, and Brandon Crawford. And let's check in with Joel Klatt, get a preview of the Toyota post-game show. Joel?
Well, coming up, guys, for the Rockies, Barry Zito is very puzzling indeed. They can't quite figure him out. Plus, all the free passes, walking the line for the San Francisco Giants. Just couldn't quite throw enough strikes for the Rockies pitchers. And as always, we'll get into the clubhouse and hear from the skipper.
All right, Joel, thank you. Barry Zito's sitting now right at 100 pitches. And based on that look, I think, and the score, obviously, I think his skipper, Bruce Bochy, is going to give him an opportunity to throw a complete game shutout.
Yeah, why not?
Zito again had an ERA close to 8 during spring training. In fact, his last performance was against an A-ball team, an inter-squad deal. Barry really on a camp day getting work as he continued to mess with his delivery, and he kind of bagged George what he was doing earlier in spring training.
Well, he needed to. 2 outings weren't good. Then they said, hey, listen, this is enough. All right, we got to do something. So then it took about 5-6 outings to get some kind of a happy median there.
And if anybody within the Giant organization told you they knew what they were going to get today, they'd have been fibbing. They had no idea.
They would have never said this.
And they weren't envisioning this. You're right. 0-2.
But I think also that, here's a veteran guy. He's 5-2 in his career versus the Rockies. Has pitched well versus the Rockies in his career. I'm sure Bruce Bochy's thinking, you know what? We need a guy to open there. We want these other 3 to go early in the season. Let's run him out there, see what happens.
Strikeout number 2 for Josh Renicky.
Really back to being the Renicky everybody's used to seeing in spring training and a year ago when he came here with this ball club, pounding the strike zone. This with a breaking ball down and away. I'm not sure Sanchez saw the ball. We're dealing with a lot of shadows right now. The pitcher's mound is in the sunlight. It crosses through the shadows to the plate. Hard to pick up the rotation of the baseball.
Line drive, base hit toward the gap in right center field. Kadire trying to cut it off. He will. He's got a strong arm, but Pagan runs too well. It's an easy double for Angel Pagan. That'll bring up Brandon Crawford. It will take us to Jenny Kavnar. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Drew, as you guys have mentioned, tomorrow the first official off day for the Rockies this season. That's for everyone except their expected fifth starter left-hander, Drew Pomeranz. That's because he's going to get a start at the AA level with Tulsa as they traveled to Corpus Christi. He was on the Houston trip, just made the short flight, so he'll get a nice warm-up start before he makes his Rockies appearance for the season on April 15th. That'll be against the Diamondbacks this upcoming Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing this guy. He's only logged 18 major league innings, just over 100 total professional innings, so it'll be fun to see him grow up a little bit. Drew?
Well, he beat the Giants last year. He's not going to face the Giants in this series. We'll see him undoubtedly later on in the year. He has a ton of confidence and he has a ton of ability. 1-1 on Crawford. 3-run double back in the 5th inning, blew this game open. It was 4-0 at the time.
A lot of positives by going to Corpus. Beautiful ballpark, short trip from Houston, and then an easy way to get back here.
Now ball to short. Two outs, Ryan Theriot coming up. A reminder coming up on the Toyota postgame show. Toyota Talk continues. Text Toyota followed by a space. And your comments to 720-720. And if you text right now, you'll be entered to win a $500 gas card.
Yeah, we started looking up with Zito in the on-deck circle. A lot of things about Barry Zito. How many shutouts has he had in his career? Well, he's had 9. But from 2000 to 2003, since that time, he's had 2. And that was since the start of 04. His last was a complete game loss against an American League team when he went 8 innings against Toronto. His last win with a shutout was April 18, 2003 versus Texas. So to kind of elaborate on what Drew's talking about, did they think they were going to get this type of performance from Barry Zito today? I don't think so.
Unfortunately, a lot of times he's been the white elephant in the room, right?
Absolutely.
They moved him to the bullpen a little bit last year. Battled foot and ankle issues. Back at Renicky off the side of his the rib cage or the arm. He's walking off like he's okay. Gets the out at first base. We'll go to the 9th inning. 7-0. Sports is brought to you by College Invest. Are you saving for college or just talking about it? By Sonic for the perfect snack or meal. Pop in anytime for Sonic's Jumbo Popcorn Chicken. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Great spectacle before the first pitch today. On opening day 2012 at home for the Rockies, but Barry Zito has stolen the show. 8 shutout innings so far, and he's out there for the 9th inning. His club's ahead 7-0. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Jenny Cavnar. Carlos Gonzalez, a strikeout, a ground out, and then a 1-6-3 ground out. He hit a smash kind of off of Zito that was grabbed by Brandon Crawford, and he threw him out. So he's 0 for 3. And the fastball away, ball 1. Tulowitzki on deck. And this ball is lined to fairly deep right field. Playing deep and making the catch is Melky Cabrera. 1 out. That was one of the harder hit balls of the day against Zito. Tulowitzki has one of the 4 hits for the Rockies. The Giants have 10 hits. Giants 0-3 start. Their worst starting 0-3 in 1984. They had never started 0-4 in their time in San Francisco. You have to go back to 1950 when they were the New York Giants playing at the Polo Grounds. Last time they began a season 0-4. The Rockies have never been shut out in a home opener. And if it were to happen, and happen in complete game fashion, this would not be the guy you would have selected as to being the guy who hurled the game against.
There's probably 3 other guys in that dugout that you would have thought of. Bumgarner, Lincecum, and Kane that might fall into that category. You're right. And Zito has been masterful today. Regardless of what's happened in the history of a Giant uniform for Zito after signing the contract, today's been a different guy.
I think it's fair to say, George, this has been his best performance in a Giant uniform.
Didn't give in, threw the cutter on a 3-1 count at 80 miles an hour. Got it on the hands of Tulowitzki. He'll fly out to right field. Second out here tonight.
Two outs, nobody on as Helton approaches. He is skied to center twice. He's caught looking.
You know, you mentioned the shutout at home on a home opener, the first ever if it's completed. There's only been 8 complete game shutouts ever at home versus the Rockies.
And Roy Oswalt was the last to turn the trick in early September of 2008. Line drive to left, that's fouled by about 15 feet. You said this on the broadcast yesterday, George. You know, pitching has dominated. I was saying really the last couple of years that the trend of batting averages going down, ERAs going down,
home runs
going down. Opening weekend's been about the pitchers, some near no hitters. And you made a great observation. The weather's been good. A lot of times that happens in early April. It's really cold, really tough to swing the bat.
Right.
That's not been the case, and it's not the case today.
No,
it's gorgeous.
Beautiful day here at the ballpark in Denver. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a prettier day at all for this to happen. To play this ball game where temperatures today was very comfortable at the yard. Here in Denver, it was 72 degrees. Excuse me, 64 today right now, but it was 68 at the start of the ball game.
Todd hits it off the end of the bat to third. Sandoval on the move. Good pick, and that's the ball game. Barry Zito shuts out the Rockies 7-0 12-0. Again, the first time the Rockies have ever been shut out in a home opener. And for Barry Zito, his finest performance in a Giant uniform in year 6 of a very lucrative 7-year deal. He has consistently been a problem for the Rockies. He's now 6-2 in his career with an ERA in the low 2s. Today's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Barry Zito pounded the strike zone and kept the Rockies off balance throughout the day. There were feeble swings and a whole lot of pop-ups today as Zito, a little more than 100 pitches, complete game shutout, and he spoils the Rockies home opener in 2012 in front of a sellout crowd of more than 49,000. Rockies fall to 1-3. San Francisco's 1-3. We invite you to stick around. The Toyota postgame show is up next.